Welcome to the Offensively Simple podcast. I'm your host, Barbie Carr, lead homeopath for Imago Dei Homeopathy. Join me as we demystify homeopathy by unpacking its heart. Real stories from people seeing the depths of what homeopathy was designed to bring. Healing that spans body, soul, and spirit and is truly redemptive. Hello and welcome to the Offensively Simple podcast. I am so excited to share with you my dear friend and client, Raquel Weseloh. Did I say that correct?
Yes.
Oh, yay. Okay. She has an amazing story that I know is going to minister to so many of my listeners. I talk to so many people who have walked through or are currently walking through what she has been on quite the journey with that you're going to hear. But I'm just so eager for her to share this. So before I start to share and botch your story, Raquel, tell us a little bit about yourself. Just introduce yourself. Who are you? What brought you to me and homeopathy?
Well, thank you so much for letting me have this opportunity just to share my story. It's just very honored. So I'm Raquel, and I live with my husband and my daughter, who is 16, and we have just a little bit about us. We've relocated to a part of Texas from Portland, Oregon, about 6 years ago. And so we bought a home here in Texas, and that is kind of where our journey has started and unfolding. And we've just been here in Texas in kind of a tropical area. We just have had a lot of healing since we've moved to this area. And this is where we've been, just kind of, we keep saying we're like in a little bubble over here, just enjoying our little life. And so we've just kind of been here for about 6 years in this house that we bought, which has brought us to two people that have saved us along the way in this journey, and that is our contractor Oscar and you, Barbie. You guys have been such star people in our journey, and how I got to homeopathy is because when we bought our home, we got hit with mold in our home. That we had all these wonderful plans of this house we were buying, and it was going to go so beautifully.
Yeah.
And then started. And so we were not told, it wasn't disclosed that there was water damage in this home.
Wow.
And other people who have lived here prior did not take care of it very well. So there was water damage underneath the house because it's on a pier and beam, and in the attic. And so we're in a humid part of Texas, so we have a lot of humidity. And so the house just wasn't cared for properly. So that played a big part in it. But probably a year and a half after being in our little tiny dream home, everything shifted and changed for us. And I only knew a little bit about mold because I had some other friends that had went through mold in Oregon, and I knew enough to know the symptoms that we were having were from mold toxicity. And so we started our journey, and we got very sick. All of us, even our animals, were so sick.
How
just
long
because,
into feeling ill did it take for you to realize it was probably mold? Like how long were you sick before you were like, this is what's going on?
um, it was probably when it was really apparent to us, it was probably a year and a half.
Wow.
We were in our home, um, that we noticed just because it was like, it's just started out with like my husband, he would have bloody noses.
Mm-hmm.
And so in Oregon, the weather's different. So it was dry in some areas and you would get bloody noses because it was so dry.
Sure.
Well, here it's very humid. So those little tiny things started happening. And then I started developing like almost asthma or something in my chest.
Mm-hmm.
And it would happen every time we would turn on the AC. And we just kind of were like, oh, that's weird, for so long. It's like, oh, that's random.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally it clicked in my head and I was like, okay, something major is happening in our house, that
Sure.
all these little things are happening, that, and how could all three of us have these little tiny things happening in our
Mm-hmm.
bodies? So, um, the first time around in our house that we were hit with mold was probably the worst
Mm.
time. Um, I developed a lot of fear. Um, and I went down the rabbit trail of looking at all the mold stuff. And it is very fear factor in the mold world about
Yeah,
mold.
let's talk about that a little bit because this is something that I encounter so often with my clients and even people just trying to explore homeopathy. Like if they have been
Mm-hmm.
exposed to mold, the fear factor is off the charts. And you and I even, right? We've gone
Mm-hmm.
around and around the fear mountain where it's like, okay, I think
Mm-hmm.
really the main symptom here isn't X, Y, or Z. It's just let's
Mm-hmm.
settle this fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you say you went down the mold rabbit hole, like you were already like in the natural health world, correct? Like before
Yes.
we connected. So you went down,
Yes.
to be specific, you went down the natural health, non-toxic mold rabbit hole. Is that correct?
Yes. Correct. That
And
is
what did you find?
exactly. It was so scary.
Mm,
Yeah, fear provoking. It because it talks about, for those of us who are on a more natural path in life for our families, when you get hit with mold, excuse me, you go down the rabbit trail of mold and it's like, don't use any chemicals. It's going to make you sick and you have to detox and you have to use this protocol
mm-hmm.
and you have to be on all these binders and you have to see this type of doctor and you have to get out of your house right away. And so it's when you've bought a home or you're renting a
Right.
home and you can't leave, that brings so much more fear on top of the factor that mold attacks your brain.
Mm,
It's in your brain, especially black mold. We had black mold.
mm-hmm.
It just attacks your thinking. And
Sure.
so I just started over consuming because I was like, what is the right path to take? And
Right.
you get so overwhelmed with information like we do in this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
Like my contractor, Oscar, he had to tell me, he's like, ma'am, I think that you are consuming too much information.
Right.
Like
Good for him.
yes, he has saved us so much. And he is just having somebody who knows about the mold part of it and like let me
Sure.
do my job took a little bit of fear out of the process.
Sure.
So I
And
was
And it's so often, I mean, whether it's mold or any other issue, I find this, I mean, I know you can find this in the, more traditional pharmaceutical realms, but particularly in the natural health realms, it seems it's, well, maybe not even particularly. It's the same thing. It's like you find, oh, it's the search for what is it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the search for, I need to know what this is. But when you finally find something that of some of what it could be, right? Like say mold, well, now that just opens up a whole other gamut of things. And then you end up on this hamster wheel and you're running for fear, but you're not getting anywhere because there's one thing leads to another product or another product or another expert or another pathway and you end up making yourself sicker from the fear, right?
I was absolutely there on the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
And that's where I got to get off because we found somebody we trusted who knew what they were doing, and I could worry about my own health and
Mhm.
my
Mhm.
family's health. So then, because I was in and out of the ER and I was trying everything I could at just, just a doctor's office,
Mhm.
just, just Western medicine, just
Yeah.
and trying to like they'll have an answer, right? But that just brought on more questions for my family and I. My daughter had rashes that wouldn't go
Mhm.
away, and it's like even the natural stuff we were trying wasn't helping, and
Right.
so I even was taking an abundance of antibiotics, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. Like,
Mhm.
this is insane. That was like at the end of our first round of mold. I was coming out of the doctor's office and God had put you in my back pocket for later. He's like, keep her number. And I remember coming out of the office and like, I need to talk to you. Like,
Yeah.
I know we've only met, one time, and you gave me so much hope and to know that my body could heal. That was the journey of starting to know that my body can heal and that I didn't have to keep looking for more answers because I
Sure.
wasn't healing. I wasn't healing from all these supplements our family was on. I wasn't healing from medication.
Right. And you were seeing, I remember we talked several times. Like it wasn't like we talked once and you jumped on board. There were several, I mean, it was was it even a year of going back and forth of you
Yes,
asking questions?
yes,
And
absolutely.
you
It
were
was.
seeing a natural health person. Like I remember you had all these right? You had the protocols and the detoxes and weren't
Yes,
at some point in the journey, right?
yes, absolutely. I was going down that rabbit hole. I even think we've been in the natural world for many, many years since my daughter was 5.
Mhm.
So we've been in that also. And I grew up in Western medicine and saw all the things that it provokes you into thinking you're broken. They
Yes.
both worlds can show you that, even the natural world, even naturopaths, like still showing you that you are broken and
Yeah.
you heal a piece at a time. And that's what we kept coming up against. And then in mold, your body does crazy things you can't even keep up with. And that's where we were and trying to find answers in that. And that's where, even in that, like, you're like, should I try homeopathy? Should I not? That's
Mhm.
another,
Oh yeah.
you know, and I just, I was like, we can't do this anymore. I can't afford to buy any more supplements that
Sure.
aren't working in my body and I'm
Right.
still sick. I
Right.
need to get off the hamster wheel.
Right, right. Yeah. So what was the deal breaker for you that made you, I mean, maybe it was financial. I was like, I can't do this and I need to do something that's simpler. But what was it in you that finally was like, we're going to give this a try with homeopathy?
For me, it was, so my daughter, like I said, she had rashes
Hmm.
on her arms from mold and just experiencing a lot of just it's a mental battle on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And for me also, mental battle that I was dealing with. And I was having a lot of kidney issues, and I was like on my 4th round of antibiotics.
Mm.
And I was like, no more. I have to do something different. Something different has to change. So that's when I got serious, and I was like, I want to try
Mm-hmm.
constitutional homeopathy. And I want to see if that will help. And it did. It helped so much.
What were some of the earliest things you remember that was like, wait a minute, this is different than all those supplements and all the binders and all the detoxes and all the protocols? Like, what was some of those early, if you remember, the very first, like,
Yes.
okay, something is different here. What was that for you?
So for me personally, it was because, like I said, I had a lot of kidney issues, and nothing was healing
Mm-hmm.
the issue with my kidneys. And antibiotic and antibiotic. And so sometimes when women are in mold, they get you get a lot of inflammation,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the bladder. And so once I started homeopathy with you and I started doing constitutional, it like went away. Like my kidneys started healing. I wasn't having or frequent issues like I was having with my kidneys. I remember the first time that I tried constitutional homeopathy. You had me on Lycopodium. That
Yep.
is my favorite. And I was sitting at the dinner table with my family, and it was like 5 or 6 o'clock. And I was like, guys, I gotta go to bed. Like, I don't feel well. I just have nothing left in me. And I was almost in tears. And then you called and you're like, let's do a dose. Let's try this. We're going to do it right now. And I was like, okay, well, we're going to do this. And I did it. And then within 15 minutes, my whole entire being just switched.
Come
I
on.
had life. I went outside and I was dancing with my neighbor. We were outside dancing. I don't even know why. And I just felt such peace inside of my soul. And
Wow.
I just remember that moment that I tried it. And then after that, it was like, this is amazing.
Mm.
This really is doing something wonderful for my body, because I was so low
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
my body, in my mind, and just my spirit for everything we are going through.
I love that so much because, I tell people over and over, like, hope heals, right? And fear is what is destroying you. And what happens is, but fear, honestly, it's a great marketing technique. It sells a lot of stuff. I'm on a mission to make hope a better marketing technique,
Yes,
right? Because
absolutely.
life overcomes death. And so we should maybe partner with that. Just a thought. But fear sells stuff, right? People get afraid and they're going to
Yeah.
keep going down the rabbit hole, keep going down the sales funnel to this binder, and then you need this detox, and then, and that detox makes you feel terrible and you're down in the dumps and you can't function. Now you need this product, right? And so what I absolutely love about your story in those early days is that the first thing you noticed was hope, right? Was like, I actually
Yes.
was the power of feeling the fear diminish and peace settling in. And I love that because I remember one of the, over and over the conversations we had, and it's not just you and I have this conversation with so many other mamas who are dealing with mold. And I say mold, and I remember having this with you, mold
Mm-hmm.
is not the real enemy here. Like, mold
Yeah.
is literally everywhere, and it is this teeny tiny microscopic little thing. Do you really think God made us to be so weak compared to this mold thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you never know it for the fear that gets raised up in the marketing world, even in the natural health world, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
what I love about your story is the evidence of, it wasn't the homeopathy that did the work. The homeopathy literally just provoked your body in the right direction to wake up and be like, hey, we don't have to do this. And you're stronger than the mold. Like, right? It's the homeopathy. It
Yes.
provokes your body to identify what's wrong and to heal it. Because the thing I always try to tell people, mold is not the issue. The issue is that you have an underlying susceptibility to the mold that's literally everywhere. Now, yes, if it's overgrowing in your
Mhm.
home like you are, like it was in your situation, you absolutely have to do something about it, right?
Yes.
But it's the somebody else's reaction, even with the severity that you had, somebody else who didn't have that susceptibility wouldn't have had the same reaction your family had, right? So the real
Exactly.
issue is the susceptibility, and homeopathy is the only modality that will actually clear out that susceptibility because exactly what you experienced. The homeopathy provokes your own body to do the work of identifying what's wrong and correcting it. And lo and behold, a fruit of that is you feel peace instead of anxiety, and you can rest and you have joy, because those are the things and the ways that those were the things God designed our bodies to steward and to produce, right? And when we steward
Mhm.
and produce those things, they bring health. So I just love that that was your first experience, right? So,
Yes. And
so
I look back,
go ahead.
yeah. No, I look back at that and I always think of my first experience. I remember that feeling so well of hope being restored. And we were in the midst of everything happening of our home. We had to live in our home.
Hmm.
Another part of our testimony is that we lived in our home for a couple of months before we even can get remediation because we had nowhere to go.
Hmm.
So I endured in mold the first time around too, because we had a round two of mold in this house.
Oh, yes,
There
you
was a round
did.
two, which is awesome to see the first round. I met you at the first round ending of it. And then when we got hit with mold the second time, I had already been working with you. So my
Right.
body was stronger. So the second time that we got hit with mold, my body was stronger, my thinking was clear, and it was like, okay, so what do we need to do? It was
Come on.
night and day difference. The amount of, I knew who my support was, I knew who we had to call in, I knew what we had to do, and we knew what we had to do as a family. And again, the second time around, we had to still endure in the mold and we
Hmm.
had to wait to
Hmm.
have somewhere else to go. But our bodies were equipped and stronger the second time to be able to endure the
I
mold.
love that, because so many people, obviously, if you have a place to go, that's probably ideal, but most people
Right.
don't.
No.
And what happens is, what I love about your story is that it's evidence, it's proof that mold isn't the real problem. If your body is strong enough, if your body is less susceptible to it, it can fight that off. And the more it
Mm-hmm.
fights it off, the stronger it becomes and the more resilient it becomes. And so it's beautiful I mean, I've had my own mold journeys that,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely I can smell it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
nowhere
Oh,
near as,
yes.
I'm nowhere near as systemically susceptible to it as I was so many, many years ago, but I can sniff it out a mile away.
Yep.
And so what I love about your story is that it's evidence, right? Because if people leave, they're like, well, am I better because I left it, or am I better because of the treatment? Am I better? Is it really the homeopathy, or is it just because I left it? But with you, it's like, it's the homeopathy, because you weren't doing binders, you weren't doing detoxes, you were
Mm-mm.
being very strict to following the constitutional path. And even in the midst of the storm, you were able to find the rest and the healing that you needed.
Yes. It actually, I can say this now that, like even when I was in the beginning of working with you and started constitutional homeopathy, it was like, take your eyes off the mold, right? Because I was
Mm.
so the thing that I was thinking about my story and my family story is that the first time around, we were stuck in a victim mentality of this was done to us.
Oh, yeah.
This is done to us. And I remember crying out to the Lord, and I went back to old thinking habits that I would have about who I thought God was.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back to thinking he is a punishing God. Lord, why are you punishing my family? What did we
Wow.
do? And very clearly, I heard him tell me, I am not doing this to you. I am doing this for you.
Come
I'm
on.
doing this for you. And at that time, so much had happened in our family that brought us closer together.
Mm.
And so much has broken off of our family, and we've become closer and free and closer to the Lord. Even in all of that, like when the Lord told me, like, I am not doing this to you, I'm doing this for you. That
Wow.
summer, my husband and daughter were baptized together at the beach
So good.
in the midst of all this. And it's just amazing that I can say this now too, is that I am very grateful for the mold experience.
Mm.
I am so grateful that we were able to walk through that together and get to the other side, and we did it in peace. I didn't have to, put my daughter through detox,
Mm-hmm.
and medications. We actually pulled back from a lot of our supplementation just to see what homeopathy would do.
Mm-hmm.
And we just recently started putting in supplementation based on what our bodies need.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to see homeopathy work just with the homeopathy. No supplementation
So
at that
good.
time. And so, and we walked through it with peace. Like, I cannot say enough about just how good the Lord is in all of that. And um, it just amazes me to talk about.
Yeah. What would you say is like the biggest surprise to you in the homeopathy journey? Like what would, if you could think like, wow, that's probably the most unexpected part of our journey, healing journey, that I didn't expect with it.
um, Mold was just an invitation to equip myself to learn other methods of
Mm.
healing the whole body. And homeopathy has been a major part of healing the whole body.
Mm.
Homeopathy has physically and mentally shown me that I am not created in parts.
Come on.
I don't need to just heal my kidneys or heal our daughter's rashes. The Lord, he heals all of it, mind, body, and spirit. And
Yes.
homeopathy's pillars are mind, body, spirit. And
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly what we've seen. And what we've seen in our bodies is mind, body, and spirit. And mold was just an invitation
Right.
of
Yeah.
the things that we suppressed in our mind and our body and our spirit that we didn't know that needed to be healed. So when we
Wow.
got to homeopathy journey, it just was an invitation for our bodies to fully, wholly heal.
Wow. I love that. Why, and what would you say in that, like in the way that homeopathy, like how, why is the healing that homeopathy offers, or how it heals, why is that important to you? Either as a person or a mom, especially, like, why is this, now that you've experienced it and discovered it and know like the totality of it, like, why is that important to you?
Because I've got to see homeopathy work like I said, full body healing. And I, as a parent, as a mom, as a wife, didn't realize how much work that I had hidden that needed to be provoked and
Mm.
brought to light to mend.
Wow.
And I didn't know it was there. I've done a lot of counseling in my life. I've done all of these things for healing, and it has got me to be where I am today, and I am a better person for it. But homeopathy it like gets in your garden and it gets the roots out, like
Yeah.
all the way down, those roots that are in there that need to be plucked out. That's what homeopathy gets. I was just cutting the root at its like surface
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
before. And so with homeopathy, it's just helped me to recognize, wow, I am a better mother. I'm a better Raquel. I'm a better wife
Mm-hmm.
this in myself. And it's not selfish that I'm doing it so that I could be better for the other jobs that I have as a mother and to my daughter. And
So good. That
yeah.
sounds so much like what Jesus says, where we will love our neighbor as we love ourselves, right? To the
Mm-hmm.
degree that we're able to accept and love who God has made us rightly, right? To the degree that we're able to see ourselves as He sees us and love ourselves as He loves us is the same way we will love others or not. And so I love that because I always say, barring any kind of major emergency or whatever, I always tell mamas, like, I'll often get mamas coming to me wanting to have their kids seen first. And sometimes that's absolutely necessary because there's something really big going on. But most of the time I encourage them,
Mm-hmm.
hey, mama, we need to treat you first. And that's not just from a practitioner's perspective. That's from me as a mother, because we started with my oldest daughter first, way, way, way back in the day. And I didn't jump on board until many years later. And it was a huge difference when I started to not only experience the homeopathy for myself, but in what it did in me and how it helped me help my daughter. And so I love what you just said. It's such a beautiful picture of that, as we love ourselves, we are going to love others the same way. So.
And that's where I started too, because I remember I'm like, can you start with my daughter first?
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep.
Because the things that I was seeing in her, just her journey, is that, again, it was the physical rashes because she couldn't even go out in the sun.
Right.
Like, and we live in the sunniest place in Texas,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you know, and so we can't have that. And it was a physical, it usually is a physical symptom that we get to our end of ourselves and we're like, we need
Sure.
to try something different, especially for our children. And that's what brought me to you first too, was because I wanted you to work with her first
Mm-hmm.
because she was in pain. But the other things that we noticed that started changing, we didn't even know, like, all these other things were going to come from just trying to heal her rashes. She
Right.
um, just grew in confidence, just in her speech and who she is. Like, there was, just um, some healing she had to do from her childhood, just with health concerns prior, um, that she had suppressed, that needed to
Mm-hmm.
be grieved and talked about. And she didn't know how to walk through that and talk about those things. And she's been able to have a voice now and to find a way to process her feelings, talk about her feelings, state her feelings to us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been so beautiful to watch her rashes are gone. I mean,
Woohoo.
when we started homeopathy and we did a remedy for her rashes, they were gone within 30 minutes to an hour.
That's
Like,
so
it was
awesome. Yeah.
amazing. I
Yep.
was like, this is it. This is what we're doing. And then all this other stuff, I was thinking about her last follow-up that she had with you, and she was just on there just like, Miss Barbie, like, no, I am not having it.
Yeah, she
I'm
was
upset.
awesome.
And I was like almost in tears, like, this is amazing, because she didn't have her voice when she first started with you.
And that's so common with teenagers, right? I mean,
Hmm.
that's the battle for us moms with teens is like they go from telling us their whole world and all the imaginary worlds
Yes.
when they're little, and then all of a sudden, I'm fine.
Yes.
I'm fine. And you're like, you're anything but fine, right? And so, I
Yes.
mean, that's just part of the growing up process that we've all been through. But I've seen that over and over again with teens and homeopathy is what it's able to, the confidence it's been able to give them, and the things they're able to actually face and have awareness of and process. And I've definitely seen that in your daughter, and it's huge. It's huge, huge, huge.
Yes. I just look back at all these little milestones that we've had in our journey with homeopathy, and it's just amazing. The things we never even signed up for that we thought were going to happen.
What would you say is the biggest breakthrough you've seen in your family with homeopathy?
Um,
I mean, you've had a lot, but I mean,
yes, we've had so much. It's just, again, what brought us to this point is the mold toxicity, if
hmm
that's what we want to call it, right? And we were so focused on the mold, and that was what was making us so sick. But once we pulled back the curtains and we really saw what was happening, mold just provoked it.
yeah, come
It just
on.
provoked it, and it was like, it's time, guys. It's time to heal the
hmm
wholeness of you, and this is what we're going to do. Mold is just the thing that's going to provoke it.
Come on.
And I just can't believe the biggest thing that I've seen is that we're still in this house. We've been here two
Yeah.
times with mold, and we've had such peace and clarity to know what we needed to do. I'm not saying that we don't ever have fear. It's just that the fear presents itself differently.
hmm
If I could say in a more peaceful way, we can recognize it, and we can, we are not created in a spirit of fear. That is
Come on.
actually what we have been walking out. Yes, I see that. I see there's mold. I understand that's there. That does bring a little bit of fear. How are we going to pay for that? But I know who to call. I know what to do. I know that my body can handle it. I know that we are created to heal.
hmm
And this little setback is not going to be the end all. And I think just the biggest thing is having that clarity, not having to be in control. It's really helped us walk through this mold journey multiple times.
So good. So good, Raquel. Ugh. So what would you offer? Like what would you say to other moms listening to this who are in a mold journey or suspect maybe they might be or are, any point of it? What would you say to other moms or anyone walking through that mold journey right now?
When you're in it, it is very difficult to take your eyes off of mold. I think it's really important to not overconsume your information
Mhm.
with anything. It could be anything. I wouldn't overconsume in the mold world. Um, I've actually helped since we've been in this mold journey here. I've helped a lot of friends and just friends, just kind of walk them through their mold journey, and just like, we don't have to be scared of the mold. The mold is
Mhm.
not what we're scared of.
Come on,
It
yeah.
is fixable, and there are solutions. To know that, like, it is fixable, there are solutions. You don't have to have all of this money to either get out of it or to remediate it. There
Mhm.
are things that you can do.
So good.
And if you can do one thing, if you can put your money for your health in one place, it would be to just consider trying constitutional homeopathy.
Mm-hmm.
We
So
found
good.
that it was way more cost effective to do that for our family than it was to go see a naturopath or to even go to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
It was just more cost effective for us, for all of us. I would just say just doing that one thing to support your body if you're in mold is going to be huge. If you can just consider that one thing.
I love that. So good. Yeah. Simplicity, right? Offensively simple,
Yes,
like it's offensive to think that like this, I've just been schooled from all the information about how complicated this is and how overwhelming it is. And here I'm going to take a spoonful of water. What? Like, I mean, it's not just water, but
exactly. That's going to work. Okay.
that's all,
If
right?
you say so.
But it is, that's it. 'Cause it's your body that does the work, right?
Yes,
So good.
absolutely. And it brings when you're going through um, these types of things in life, whatever that hardship is, right? For us, it was the mold. The constitutional homeopathy just brings such confidence and
Mm-hmm.
calmness and gentleness to your body so that you can be a better mother in leading your family into what the next steps are.
So good. Yeah. So we can do the hard things, right?
We're going to do the hard things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for real. Raquel, would
Absolutely.
you pray for our listeners? Would you just say a prayer for anyone listening to this, any mama listening to this who might be considering like what path do I take? What do I do about this? Would you just release a prayer from your story because you carry so much breakthrough in this, and I would love to give you that chance.
Okay. No pressure.
No pressure.
Holy
Holy Spirit
Spirit.
will, yes, He will pray through you. You can do it.
Oh, yes, Holy Spirit. Well, thank you again for this opportunity, for sure.
Oh, so thank you. I thank you for sharing this. I'm so thankful and
Yes.
honored to have you.
Okay. Lord Heavenly Father, I thank you for this opportunity to be able to share with others how you have worked in our lives and through our family to walk through a very hard journey. Our
Mm-hmm.
journey has been through mold. And I just hope that these words find others who are walking through this journey. Lord, I just pray that these words today bring comfort
Mm-hmm.
and take the fear, because we are not created in fear, Lord. Take that fear out of their mind and their bodies, that they could just consider trying one thing to support their bodies, Lord, and that you would just help them and guide them through this process,
Mm-hmm.
and that you would bring confidence and peace to those families that are walking through this mold journey,
Yes, Lord.
and that you would help them to find their way through this journey and the right people and the right supports. Lord, that you are with them, even though this is a very difficult time and that it just causes such burden in our hearts and our minds and our bodies, Lord. But remind my biggest thing through my words, Lord, I hope that people hear that there is hope. There is
Mm-hmm.
hope, and that you did create us to heal. Our body is one, it is not in parts. People are not a diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, lead them to wholeness, and
Yes,
that's
Lord.
only found through you, Lord.
Yes, Lord.
I thank you for our mold journey. I thank you so much for everything that I've learned and that I can share with others through my experience, Lord. I thank you so much for all of that.
Mm.
It has been a precious, precious journey.
Thank you, Lord.
We just pray this in your mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Raquel, for sharing so honestly and openly. Just so blessed to have you on here, and I know that your story is going to minister to a lot of people. So thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. If you are interested in exploring constitutional homeopathy for yourself or your family, please go to my website. It's imagodayhomeopathy.com and schedule a discovery call. It's a free call. We get to talk to each other on the phone. I'll help answer all of your questions. It's exactly where Raquel and I began a couple